In this lesson, we are going to learn how to graph inequality systems. So, Kevin, what does that even mean? I mean, I know how to graph an inequality, but what is a system? Okay, well, let me quickly explain. So in the previous, well, that was a straight line. In the previous sections, we've already learned how to draw or graph linear inequalities, right? Like y bigger than x plus 4. We've done this before, where the 4 is the y-intercept, so you'd put a little 4 at the y-intercept, and then the slope, which is your rise over your run, so you would go 1 up, and then you'd go 1 to the right. This is just a quick little diagram just to show you something. And then because it's a line like that, it doesn't have a little line at the bottom, so it's a dashed, or, yeah, sometimes I say dotted, but it's a dashed line like that. And then it says that y is bigger. Remember how we spoke about the crocodile and all of that in the previous section on graphing linear inequalities? And then you would go graph like that, for example. Okay, so that's what we've done up till now. But a system is when you have 2 or more. So, and as I said, this is just an example. We're going to do a whole bunch of proper examples soon, but I'm just quickly showing you something. So, bigger than, let's say, 2 over 3 x plus 2. Okay, so to draw that, we would go to 2 on the y-axis, which would be somewhere over there. Then your slope is 2 over 3. So that means 2, which is your rise. So that would be 1, 2, and then 3 to the right. 1, 2, 3. So it would be somewhere over there. Okay, so we put a line through it, and it's a dashed line. Like that. Let me extend the red one as well to there. Okay, and then its y is bigger than, so that would be above. So it would highlight all the parts that are above. Okay, now, and it will be all of that. Now the final answer would be the part where those areas that you've shaded overlap. So it would sort of be all of there, and then from there. So everything over here is where they overlap. Okay, that is the answer. It's the part where the shades overlap. So let's make a little note. The answer is the part where the shades, or the shadings, I don't even know if that's a word, it sounds weird, where the shadings overlap. Okay, but I know this doesn't look very nice. This is just a quick little introduction. We're now going to do quite a couple of examples. So you can leave the video whenever you feel uncomfortable, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 examples that we are going to have a look at now. Okay, so step 1 is you just want to go draw each one individually. Okay, so let's just look at this one over here. And of course, to be able to draw this, you need to know how to draw a straight line. So go watch my section on how to graph linear equations, or even better, how to draw linear inequalities. Okay, so what we do is we use the slope-intercept method. That is the easiest way to draw a straight line. So we start with the y-intercept, which is 3. So we put a little dot at the 3. First step complete. Then we look at the slope. Now remember, the slope-intercept form goes like this. Okay, some teachers use a C, some use a B. I use a B most times now. Back in the day, I used to use C, but now I've noticed a lot of teachers and learners actually use B. So we know that this part here is the slope. So in this scenario, the slope would be there, which would be, if there's no number there, then it's a 1. So that would be 1. You can think of it as 1 over 1. So we know that the rise is 1, and then the run is 1. So we can go 1 up, and then 1 to the right. So we can put a little dot over there. And then we just need to see whether it's going to be a solid or a dashed line. So what we've said before is that when it's like this or like this, then we use a dashed line. When it's got a little line underneath, then it's a solid line. So this one doesn't have a line underneath, so it's just going to be a dashed line. So let's go do a dashed line. Okay, so something like that, and we can put little arrows. Okay, and then what we've also spoken about before is that when it says y is like that, if you think of this as the crocodile, the crocodile is very hungry. So if you look at this as the crocodile's mouth, what is the crocodile about to eat? This is just a summary, by the way, a little recap on how to draw inequalities. The crocodile is trying to eat the Y. Now this crocodile is really hungry, so what it does is it always tries to eat the bigger thing, because maybe it's not going to get food for the next couple of days, so it's going to try eat the biggest thing possible. So if the crocodile is trying to eat the Y, then that means that the Y is big, and it means that this part over here is small. So it says that Y is bigger. So when it says Y is bigger, I want you to shade above. If it said Y is smaller, then you would shade below. So we're going to shade above. Okay, so I'm going to use a highlighter just to shade all of this. So now that that is complete, now we are going to draw our second line. Okay, so that's going to be this one over here. So it starts with the y-intercept, which is -1. So we go put a little dot at -1. There we go. Let's actually do this in red. So there's -1. And then we look at the slope, which is -1. So you can think of it as -1/1. So remember that if it's -1/1, then this is your rise, and this is your run. So the rise is -1. So it means we're going to go 1 down, and then 1 to the right. So that's going to be over there. Then we are going to use a solid line, because you can see it's got a solid little line underneath there. So we're going to quickly do that. Okay, so as best as I could, there we've drawn it. And then it says that Y, now let's just quickly draw this out for ourselves. So this crocodile, what is it trying to eat? Well, if you look at the crocodile's mouth, it's trying to eat this side. So it means that this side is the bigger side, because remember the crocodile is very hungry, and it always tries to eat the bigger thing. And then this side is smaller. So now we're saying that Y is the smaller one. So we're saying that Y is smaller. So when it says that, then it means you shade everything below. So we're going to shade all the stuff below. Okay, so as you can see, I'm busy shading everything below. Yeah, it's actually a blue color, but when it mixes with the yellow, it goes green. Okay, so we're shading everything below. Okay, for some reason it was acting really weird now, so it stays green like that, but then as soon as I take my hand off, then it goes into like a pinkish color. I mean, pink, what am I talking about? Blue, Kevin, that's blue, dude. Alright, so you get the point. Now, what we are looking for, to find our final answer, it's the place where there is an overlap of the yellow and the blue. So that would be this area over here. So you see that there was this dotted line over here, and then there was a solid line over here. So it's this part in the middle. That's where we had yellow and we had blue. That is called the overlap part, and that is our final answer. It's that part over there that your teacher actually wants to see. The part that I'm highlighting in black, that is the answer. It's where the two inequalities have, or they share, the overlap. That's what we are looking for when we graph a system of linear inequalities. Okay. So if you're feeling good about that, I mean, you could leave now, but I'm going to do a whole lot more examples. For those of you that are maybe still feeling a bit funky about this and not so good, then you stay here and we just keep doing more and more examples until you feel comfortable. So here's our next example, and step 1 is easy. Just go draw this one. Okay, so we start with the y-intercept, which is at -2. So there we go, -2. And then we're going to use our slope. So the rise is 1, so we go 1 up, and then the run is 2, so we go 2 to the right, 1, 2, and then we make a little dot there. There we go. And then what we do is we're going to use a solid line, because it says that it's a solid line, so let's do that. Okay, so something like that. And then it says here that if you look at the crocodile is trying to eat the y. So the y is the bigger one. So when y is bigger, then you shade above. Okay, so we're going to shade above the red line. So everything above. So that's what that one would look like over there. Now we simply need to go draw the second line. So we start with the y-intercept, which is +2. So that's over there. And then we use the slope. So the rise is 5. So we go 5 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we go 2 to the right. 1, 2. We put a little dot over there. Now, because they don't have a solid line under the inequality sign, it's going to be a dashed line. So we're going to just do a dashed line like that. And then if we look at the direction of that, it says that y is like that. So if you look at the crocodile is trying to eat this side over here. So it means that this side over here is the bigger side, and this side is smaller. So what we are saying is that y is smaller. So when it says y is smaller, then you shade below the line. So this will be all of this. See, we're shading below the line, below this green line that we've just drawn. Okay, so there we've shaded below. So now the answer is going to be the overlap part. So it's where, and this would be easier for you if you use two different colors on your paper. So it's the part where we had yellow and blue. That's where our answer would be. So it's going to be, so here this part was dashed. Let's just fill that in. And then this part here was the solid line. And so the answer is definitely going to be that part in between them. That's where we had blue and we had yellow. Remember? We had blue and yellow there. So it's going to be all of this. So it's literally the part where we had overlap, where there was blue and there was yellow. Okay? So that would be that area over there. So that part there, that is our answer. Here's our next example. So what's important here is that when you draw these straight lines, you can do this in your own way, but it's typically better to first rewrite them in slope-intercept form. As I said, you don't have to. There are definitely other ways of doing it, but that's the way that I think most students really prefer, and I also think it's a really good method, okay? So that's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to rearrange both of these, or rewrite them into slope-intercept form. So with the first one, I'm going to take the x to the other side, like that. Then I'm going to divide everything by 3 so that I can get the y completely by itself. So we're going to end up with y smaller than negative 1 over 3x, take away 1. Remember, there is a little 1 over there, and then 3 divided by 3 is 1. Okay, so there we've written that first one in slope-intercept form. So I'm actually going to cross out that one and rewrite it like that. And then I'm going to do the same with this one, and this one's got something very interesting that's going to happen. So I'm going to leave the negative 6y on the left. I'm going to take the x over so it becomes a negative, like that. Then we're going to divide everything with negative 6. Now be careful. Do you remember back in the day when we were learning about inequalities, and what we said was that when you divide with a negative, the inequality sign changes. So it's going to become this, then we're going to flip the inequality sign, and then these two negatives are going to cancel, so you're just going to end up with 5 over 6, and then this negative and this negative is going to cancel to become a positive, and then 36 divided by 6 is 6. And so there we have it. Okay, and so there I've gone and rewritten the two equations. So now we just need to go draw this line. So let's go draw that line so long. So its y-intercept is at positive 1. So there's positive 1. Then its slope is negative 1 over 3. So I'm going to pretend that that's negative 1 at the top and 3 at the bottom. So if you have a slope of negative 1 over 3, then it means that your rise is negative 1 and your run is 3. So it means that we're going to go 1 down and then 3 to the right. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to put a little dot there. There we go. Now we see that, I just want to make sure, okay, so they both have those types of symbols. Okay, that's fine. So we see that there's no line at the bottom. So it's definitely going to be a dash. So we're going to put a dashed line between them. And now we need to go and draw oh, I haven't even shaded. What a rookie, what a noob. So it says that, okay, so if we see here, it says let's just write this out. So if you look at the crocodile is hungry. So the crocodile what is the crocodile about to eat? Is it trying to eat this? Or is it trying to eat this? Well, look at its mouth. Look at that mouth. There's the teeth. It's about to eat this side over here. So that means that this side is big because the crocodile always likes to eat the biggest piece of food, and then this side is small. So what we're saying here is that y is smaller. So when we say y is the small one, then we shade below. So we're going to shade all of this below. Okay? So there we have that one. Now we need to go draw the next line, which is this one over here. So now we are saying that the y-intercept is 6, so we go to 6, there it is, and then we've got a rise over run of 5 over 6. Oh my goodness. So we're going to go 5 up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to go 6 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to be over there. And now, because this line, it doesn't have a solid line underneath, then that is going to be a dashed line. Okay, so obviously with the different colors mixing over here, it's caused a bit of a, coloring there. But we can see that that's all fine. And now if we look at this crocodile's mouth, we can see that the crocodile is trying to eat the y. So that means the y is bigger. And remember, when y is the bigger one, then we always shade above. Bigger, then we shade above. All right, so if we shade above, then that's going to be over here. So you can sort of see that's where the overlap's going to be anyways. But, I mean, to be correct, we should go shade everything above. So all of this. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to look for the part where there is an overlap, where there was blue and there was blue and yellow. And so that would be inside. So this is where, these are all dashed lines. So it's going to be this area inside here. This is where we had blue and we had yellow. Okay, so that's where our final answer for this question would be. So that is your answer. Here's our next example. So step 1, we always have to, well, the better way is to always rearrange the lines into the slope-intercept form. So I'm going to take this first one, and I'm going to get the y by itself. Okay, so we're going to have this and that, and then what we need to do is we need to divide by -2. Now remember, when you divide with a negative, your inequality sign must change. So it's going to become, so we're going to divide everything by -2. So that's going to become a y. Then we're going to change the sign of the inequality. Then these two negatives are going to cancel. So it's just going to be like that. And then these two negatives are also going to cancel. So you're going to end up with +6. And so there is that line's equation. Now we need to do the second line. So let's quickly go write that out. So x take away 2y greater than or equal to 12. So I'm going to take the x to the other side. Then we're going to divide everything by -2. And so we end up with y. Now, because we're dividing with a negative, we must switch the inequality sign around. And now these two negatives would cancel. Now, you might be wondering, how do we write this? Like, what is the number at the top? Well, the number at the top is a 1. So we're going to say 1 over 2x like that. And then this positive and this negative would make a -6, because 12 divided by 2 is 6. Now that both lines have been written in the slope-intercept form, now we simply need to go draw both of the lines, or graph both of the lines. So now we're going to draw them. Fun fact, maybe this will interest some of you, but I went and made myself a drink now, and this drink consists of a whole lemon, including the outer peel, or the rind, as some people call it, 2 garlic cloves, and a little bit of ginger, and then some turmeric powder. And then I add water, and then I put it into a high-speed blender. And yeah, really good for if you're feeling like you have a cold, or even if you just need to drink it on a daily basis just to keep your immune system super strong, healthy. I don't know, maybe someone sitting at home right now. Oh, and you could also add honey. Honey is also really good. Just makes it a little bit, adds a bit of sweetness to it. So yeah, really good. I'm not sick at the moment, but it just helps to keep the immune system nice and strong. So fun fact. And if you're battling with like a cold or flu right now, maybe give that a try. So on to more serious things for you guys, how to draw these inequalities. So I'm going to start with this one over here, and let's actually go block these ones off so we don't get confused. So we're going to start with the y-intercept, which is at 6. Ooh, and now we have to do 7 over 2 as our rise over our run. I don't know why I chose such weird numbers. Okay, so the rise is going to be 7, and then the run is going to be 2. So we're going to go 7 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 would be somewhere over there. And then we're going to go 2 across. 1, 2. So we're going to put our little dot over there. Then we're going to connect them. But now because we have a solid line over there, we can connect them as a solid line. Now obviously if you have a straight edge, this is so much better. I don't. So that actually looks very skew, Kevin. So what I did there is, just to make it easier for myself, is I just kept using the slope. So I just went 7 down, and then I went 2 across, and then I went 7 down and 2 across, just to keep the same slope. And then I'll just try to draw a straight line between each of these. Fun fact when you don't have a ruler. Kevin, you're full of fun facts today. Fun facts about your ginger and your lemon. And now fun facts about drawing without rulers, or straight edge. Okay, so moving on to the next. Oh, first we have to shade. Okay, so if you look at that, now we should be feeling comfortable by now that this is the crocodile. And if you look at the crocodile's mouth is about to eat the y. So it means that the y is the big, and then this part here is the small part. So when the y is the big part, then we always shade above. We always shade above the line. So that means we're going to shade all of that. If we were shading below the line, then you would shade all of that. Okay? Above this line and below this line. That's what I'm talking about. So we are going to shade above. Okay, so that's what it would look like over there when we shade above. Now we need to do the other line. So when we draw the other line, we know that the y-intercept is at -6, so that's over there. Then if we look at the slope, it's going to be 1 rise, so we're going to go 1 up, and then 2 to the right. 1, 2, and we're going to put a little dot over there. And then just to give myself a few extra points, I do that a few times. So I go 1 up, 2 to the side. 1 up, 2 to the side. 1 up, 2 to the side. You got it, right? And then we can go 1 down, 2 to the left. If we go the other way, 1 down, 2 to the left, 1 down, 2 to the left. And so that just helps me to draw a straight line nicely when I don't have a straight edge. Oh, and then I am doing a solid line because this has got the little solid line at the bottom. Okay? And so that's what we have there. And then we need to do the shading. So if you look at the crocodile is about to eat this side. So it means that the y is the smaller part because the crocodile always eats the bigger part. Now, when the y is the small part, then what we do is we always shade below. We always shade below. Okay. And then where they overlap, so that's there. Okay, so the overlapping part would be in this section over here. See there? That's where they are both overlapping. That's where there's yellow and the blue at the same time. So that area that I've highlighted there in black, that is the answer. So here's our next example. Now, earlier on when we started this lesson, I showed you all of the different examples we were going to do. And this one I changed. So the numbers were slightly different. So maybe you are a student that tried all of the examples by yourself in the beginning. Well, I'm sorry, but I did change the numbers for this one because it just wasn't going to fit onto this diagram very easily. So the first step we need to do is to rewrite these equations in the slope-intercept form. So I'm going to start with this top one. It's almost in slope-intercept form. We just need to take that x to the other side. There we go. That one's now in slope-intercept form. Now this one, I'm going to work on this one now. So we need to take that x over to the other side, so it becomes -x. Then I need to divide by -2. So I divide everything by -2. Remember, when you divide with a negative, the inequality sign must change. So we're going to end up with y smaller than, and then this is a 1. So these two negatives are going to cancel. So it becomes 1 over 2x, and then this positive and this negative becomes a -6, because 12 divided by 2 is 6. And so let me just rewrite the two equations over here. Okay, so now it's easy. Now we just need to go plot these both using the methods we've been using in this whole lesson. So I'm going to start with this one over here. So we know that it has a y-intercept of 6, so we put a little dot at the 6. And then the slope is 1. You could think of it as 1 over 1. So you could think of it as negative 1 over 1. So what that means is that we're going to go 1 down, because that's the rise and the run, and then the run is 1 to the right. So we're going to go 1 down, 1 to the right, over there. Okay, now if we look here, it doesn't have a solid line, so it's a dashed line. Okay, so we're going to use a dashed line. There we go. Whoops, it's put a connection over there, and then there, and then there. Okay, good. Now it says that if you look at the crocodile mouth over here, the crocodile mouth is going to eat this side. So it means that this side is the big side, and this side is the small side. So when the y is the small side, then we always shade below. When the y is the big side, then we shade above. So we're going to shade below. Now, obviously I could go shade everything, but I just want to try something. I'm just going to put a border around the parts that I would shade, just to save a bit of time. Maybe this will be easier for us to see. Okay, so obviously I would shade all of this. Okay, so there's the shading. You know, it would be inside here. Now we need to go do the second line. Okay, so this next line would have a y-intercept of -6, so that would be over there. And then it's got a rise of 1 and a run of 2. So we're going to go 1 up, 2 to the right, and then we'll put our little dot over there. Now this one has got a solid line. So this one is going to, this is a solid line. So we're going to put a solid line going through there and there. Now, if you look at the crocodile's mouth is facing towards this side. So it means that this side is big, and it means that the y is small. Once again, when y is small, then you always shade below. So we're going to shade this area beneath the line. Okay. There we go. So the part that would be overlapping with the red, well, yeah, with all of that red and with all of the green, would be all of this inside here, up to there, over there, and then all of that, and then obviously we'll just color everything inside there. And there we go. So it would be that part. It won't be this part over here, because that part's not inside the red. So it would be that part that I've done in purple. Let's do one more example. So here's our last example, and what I like about this one is that it has a y smaller than 1. Some people struggle to do those, even though those are the really easy ones. They just look a little bit different. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take this equation, and we're just going to rewrite it in the proper slope-intercept form. So I'm going to take the 9x over to the other side like that. Then I'm going to divide everything with -1. The reason we divide everything with... why did I do that? We're going to divide everything with -1 like that, Kevin. Okay. And so that's just to get rid of... That's to just get this y by itself. So we're going to get y. Remember, when you divide with a negative, you must switch the sign around. So it's going to go like that. And then these two negatives are going to cancel. So it becomes a positive 9x. This positive and this negative gives you a negative like that. And so there's the equation for that one. And so let's just rewrite that over here. Now we can just go, let's scratch this one out. Now we can go plot that. So the y-intercept is at -8. Then the slope is 9. You can think of it as 9 over 1, because 9 over 1 is still the same as 9. So the rise is going to be 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we're going to go 1 to the right. So that means we are going to go over up to there. Okay, and now if you look at the sign, it's a solid line that we're going to draw. And there we go. Okay, so I know that doesn't look super pretty, but that's what that one would look like. Now we need to decide whether we're going to shade above. So the above, whoa, what happened there? So the above part would be this, because it's above this line. I know that's a bit difficult to see, but like if the line goes like this, then this part's above and this part's below. So if the line's just very steep, then this is still the above part, and then this is the below part. So if we look at the sign, the crocodile sign, we can see that the crocodile is trying to eat this side. So it means that this side is the big side, and that means the y is the small. And remember, when the y is the small part, then we always shade below. When the y is the big part, then we shade above. So we're going to shade below. So that's going to be everything below. So it's going to be all of this up to there, and then it's going to go along this line. Okay, so it's all of this in this big block. Okay, so that's all shaded over there. Now we need to just do this one over here. Now this is a super easy one. So it just says that y is smaller than or equal to 1. So with this one, it's really easy. It just says that the y is a 1. So you go to where the y is a 1. And where else is y equal to 1? Well, y is equal to 1 anywhere along this line. It doesn't matter what the x value is. Remember when we used to draw the line y equals to 1? Well, it's anywhere along this line where y is 1. So now, is it dashed or solid? It's a solid line. So we're going to put a solid line like that over there. And then it says that if we look at whether we're going to shade above or below, we can see the crocodile. Now, the crocodile is about to eat the 1. So the 1 is the big thing, and the y is the small thing. And remember that when the y is the small one, then we always shade below. So we're going to shade all of the below part, or below that blue line. So that would be up to here, and then all of that. Okay, so the answer now is going to be the overlap of the two different parts. So that's going to be this part. So all of this, all the way down to here. And so that's where you would get the answer over there. Okay, so thank you very much for watching this lesson. I hope that you now feel much better about graphing linear inequality systems.